Crawford Podcasting Network, corner of Hagedorn and Grand River, stone's throw away from Michigan State University. On the Sunday morning, what is it, September 22nd? Thank you. A big weekend in all of sports. I shout out to the Tigers, still hanging in there. They beat the O's. We're not going to talk about that.
Right.
We're going to talk about football, but I mean, it's great to be in the great state of Michigan. Mixed results, but I thought, and I was, full disclosure, I listened to Michigan State's entire second half in the car. I mean, getting out of Ann Arbor after that USC game was insane. They're blocking off State Street to make it a food court. People are all over the place, tons of USC people. And it's just, so I go to the post-game presser, both players and Sharon, and I'm out of there, and I thought I'd be waltzing out of there, and I'm still sitting in gridlock getting out on M14. So I listened to the entire Michigan State game. Let's start with that, because a lot of people didn't see it because they don't have the ACC app or whatever. Coach Kerry Keyton, former player. I'm going to make this statement about Michigan State, then we'll talk about Michigan's comeback win over USC, is I think Spartan fans should feel really good about this team for a couple of reasons. I mean, they're in attack mode. I think on both sides of the ball, they've made some huge upgrades. They had two wide receivers out, and they still beat a good, or almost beat a good Boston College team that, beat Florida State, albeit Florida State's not quite as good as obviously people had expected. Competed with a really good Missouri team, had that game won. BC's that's a good quality team they're playing. They should have won this football game. They're still in great shape at 3-1. They're going to be in a bowl game. Jonathan Smith, this is great positive strides, but man, you get into the what could have. A 4-0 going to the Ohio State, Oregon juggernaut, just compete in those games. And all the other games, I hate to say it, are winnable games. The rest of the way, they're going to be in those games. This could be an 8-win team, and it still could be. But the woulda, shoulda last night, let that one slip away.
Rachel.
Extremely disappointed.
You are.
In the fact that we did not win the game, because I feel we should have won the game. But I'm so very encouraged, as I said in my Facebook, so very encouraged. 18-year-old quarterback, a theme night game, which is a huge game for them. Down two of our better receivers. Offensive line is decimated with injury again, and we're mixing and matching and trying to get stuff done there. And we should have won the game. That being said, we did okay. I get that.
The goal line stand was
goal line stand,
and then the 90-yard drive after that.
Straight down the field, and there's so many 25 yards and penalties. We got rid of the penalties.
Yeah, that was an improvement. Yep.
There's so many things to look. Yes, Aiden, he overthrew guys that should have scored. Should have scored a touchdown. I get that. But, he also laid the perfect one in to Nick. Nick's got to catch that ball in the end zone. And then we're up 7. And then, if BC happens to score a touchdown, which they did, they'll have to go to 2, or maybe we're looking at overtime.
Yeah.
All those things, the ifs and buts and candy and nuts and all that good stuff. Yeah. We should have won that game, but we didn't.
Yeah.
However, if you would have told me we'd be 3-1,
well, I said that was a benchmark. I said they could be 3-1.
And
I thought they were going to beat BC, but lose to Maryland.
Right. And if you look at what happened kind of yesterday as well, Missouri struggled with Vanderbilt. Probably should have lost.
Oh,
they end up winning. They end up winning, but they probably should have lost the game. So maybe Boston College is maybe a little bit overrated. Not to say that Michigan State is not good, but what we went into that game with, and for all intents and purposes, we should have won that game.
You had to lead 13-6 halftime. It was a rainy game.
Horrible weather.
Yeah, the weather's
all
bad.
Those things. And I guess the most I'm just disappointed with is the fact that when we got that ball at the end with 1:30 whatever to go,
Yeah.
we were moving that ball downfield.
Hit your tight end a
Jack
couple times.
catch right down, and you know the pressure to make a play. You know, Aiden, he wants to, go.
Right.
There was no need to throw that ball.
Yeah.
Just throw it away, and then we got, just continue to try. But, it is what it is. I mean, I'm still very encouraged with the fact that, the plays that he did make with his feet put us in a position to be where we were. Without him making those plays with his feet, we're probably not even close to winning that game.
Yeah.
So
I want to make a statement. We're going to go back between the lines, but I'm going to go outside the lines, within the social media lines. I am appalled, and this is both fan bases, both Michigan and Michigan State, of their overreaction and making declarations in the moment of emotion. I saw a post, Aiden Childs should never play another snap for Michigan State, period. I saw Sharon Moore should never have been hired, the football coach at the University of Michigan. Alex Orji, I don't understand why he's on the field. It's like this fanboy obnoxiousness is insane. The definition of insanity, go to social media and see the declarations in real time. It's laughable and
ridiculous.
I think Aiden Childs, he's making. Michigan had a quarterback named Demetrius Brown. Okay, you're quite familiar because this is during your era when you were at Michigan State.
Thanks, D.
Okay, so Demetrius Brown in 1987, he threw 7 interceptions against Michigan State up here, and they were in position to win the football game. They
win
lost
the game still.
17-11. Okay, well,
Defense.
okay, and Bo just ripped him. I mean, you saw the sideline stuff. The following year, Demetrius Brown took Michigan to win a Rose Bowl championship. They beat USC, okay? It was a work in progress for Demetrius Brown, okay? But Aiden Childs, the ceiling to me is way up there, way up there. This young man he's got a lot of upside. And I mean, all my message to Michigan State fans is just stay the course, because he's going to win a lot of football games for you in my mind.
4th start.
18 years old, just turned, he's 18 years old. Yeah, Nick Marsh is 17. You're agreeing with me?
Come on. It's if you've never been in it, then you have no idea what it takes.
It's hard to win a football game, first. It's really hard to win football.
The effort, I don't, and I try to keep it as nice as possible, because if you don't know, you have no idea what it takes to be in those positions.
So I don't know what Michigan State's alternative is at quarterback. Okay.
Well, no, shoot, it will be fine.
What's his name?
Tommy Schuster.
Schuster. Okay. I mean,
I think
let's just get the bottom line. I mean, should you? And I know the answer. I mean, should you ride the rapids with, as Ernie Harwell used to say, ride the rapids with Aiden Childs, or do you experiment? If he does make 3 or 4 turnovers in a row, pull him out and let him chill, let him look at the game, and bring in the other quarterback? Would you do that?
I mean, now you're talking about
next week against Ohio State, because you're playing a juggernaut.
You're mixing a lot of things in there when you start doing that stuff. I mean, you brought this kid here,
Who knows your system?
You paid this kid to come here. He's making the money to be the quarterback, and he knows what you do.
But you got to put your team in the best position to win a football game.
And I believe with Aiden Childs at quarterback puts our team in the best position to win a football game right now.
I agree.
Until it's proven otherwise.
He's got stuff to clean up.
Absolutely.
And he's got to get a couple of receivers.
And he's getting better and better every week. Now again, if you look at the last throw, okay, the one he's waiting for, Jack come out of the break. He anticipated it. He wasn't there. and it was it. The one behind Jack was a bad ball.
Yeah.
You know, you can't throw the ball behind.
Yeah.
That is the one in front is anticipating them get to it. And then, but if you really want to break it down, we get the ball come out at halftime. Who runs back kickoffs these days?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. No, it's
In the rain,
it's a rarity.
In the rain, in the
Yeah,
slop,
they follow,
whatever.
I know. I mean,
That
Michigan, the
gives the ball on the
turnovers.
5-yard line. Like,
Turnovers, they gave him 10 points, basically.
easy.
Yeah.
And it's you could go back and rehash and all that. There's plenty of mistakes to go around. I mean, when we're on the 5-yard line going in, right tackle miss reach block easy. We get tackled in the backfield for a 5-yard.
Yeah, that was killing. That was killing. Yeah.
There's plenty of blame to go around. However, again, I'm encouraged because those guys are in there. I mean, they're sophomore playing big time football. I mean, I'm good with it. Like I said, I'm disappointed, obviously, because I feel we should have won the game.
It was a
but
great
I'm still
opportunity to win
encouraged.
football.
Absolutely, to be 4-0, and then you got 8 games to go to get 2 more.
I mean, I quite frankly, I think the standard or the ceiling is a little bit higher. I mean, or in the expectation, I thought they would win 6. If you're giving me a mulligan where I could alter that up, I would move it to 7. I would move it to 8. I mean, the Big Ten's got some good. The Big Ten doesn't hold a candle to the SEC. I think other than Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State is at the top, at the upper levels. But I'm telling you what, when you look at the entire conference, you look what Indiana's done. That Illinois quality win on the road in Nebraska.
I mean,
Illinois got a defense.
No question.
Indiana's got an offense. We don't know if they have a defense. They haven't really been
They
tested.
ain't need one yet.
Yeah.
Because they putting the points
They're
up.
putting the points up, and there's a lot of
UCLA
meaningful football.
winning the LSU was giving LSU everything they wanted.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're trying to dissect, well, who's good and who's not so good. I think Texas is really good. I think Ohio State, optically, when you watch them on the field, and Spartan fans, you're going to see that at 7:00 on Saturday night.
Explosive plays.
This is the most talented team in a long, long time, and this is where $20 million worth of budgetary money for NIL comes into play.
That's the name of the game these
Yeah,
days.
so,
If you got it, use it.
Okay, segue over Michigan USC game, and I was down in Ann Arbor. It was a hot day. I'm starving for the weather at the Michigan Texas game. Like 58 degrees and all that stuff. I was inside in the air conditioning, but I mean the fans looked like they were dying out there. It was hot. The tailgating was hot. But Michigan had unorthodox way of winning this football game. He had 32 yards pass. They have a situation at quarterback. They have a problem at quarterback. But they have a kid that his teammates believe in, Alex Orji. I can tell. When you look at Khalil and talking about Alex, they believe in him, and he did some nice things. But, man, long term, they're going to have to figure out a way to throw the football because, I mean, the running game is juggernaut right now. Their offensive line is improving. Ben Bredesen, I asked him a question to post-presser. As an H-back, can you see what's going on? Yeah, they're getting better. They're acting as a unit. That's very exciting to hear about down the road. But, man, you got to have balance in offensive football these days. Michigan has different problems than Michigan State, but I still think when you beat the number 11 team in the country and you do it in the fashion that they did when things looked dire in the second half, that was a good win for Michigan.
Let's cut the chase. That defense is the reason Michigan won a football game.
I ain't doubt
because
that.
them boys came to play.
Yeah, Mason Graham was
came
an
to
animal.
play yesterday, and it was a beautiful thing to see. I'll be the first one to tell you, if I was a USC fan, I would be extremely disappointed because you should have won that game.
Miller
But
Moss is a good quarterback.
You should be encouraged by how your defense played, except for giving up the big long runs. But without the 63-yarder, Michigan giving the ball back at about the 50 to 40, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But kudos to them to make those plays. But you're not going to win, in my opinion, in the Big Ten throwing the ball 32. It's just not going. It's not sustainable
Well, you don't have
against
you can do it
teams,
like you did it. Yeah.
But teams that can stop the run.
Right. Now you did it against Penn State last year when they went 30, all the runs in a row.
We
those
know
are
that's
unique
a totally
games.
different
Yeah,
team.
yeah. But
This team's not
long
gonna
haul.
run the
You're
ball
going
like
to have
that.
to have balance, and they got time to fix it. Listen, this is
Gotta
not
get
as
the
we're
tight
seeing
end
right now.
back.
This is not a CFP caliber team right now,
No.
and I'm fine with
But
that.
that's okay.
They lost 18 of 22 starters. People, that's
Right.
a lot of talent gone.
Right. Now, the thing about that, you say that, but the great, that's what they talk about, well, it's a great, the program, well, you know what? Well, Georgia went back to back. Alabama, it's
Sheer
sustainable.
depth. Yeah.
Well, you won it, and now you're not as good.
Yeah.
So that's telling, like, no, you're not the program like those people are, because they won and they lost a lot of people. Georgia loses people to NFL every year. Where they at? Right back at the number one in the. You know what I'm
They
saying?
were lucky to beat Kentucky last week, but
so
you're right. You're right.
Keep that level up there. I don't understand how they just have the quarterback issues.
Well, I mean, you put Miller Moss on Michigan, and I'm sleeping 8 hours every night, uninterrupted.
Like a baby boy.
I mean, and there's great quarter. See, Michigan, from a quarterback standpoint, and I love Alex Orji is one of these really spiritual guys. He's a great kid. His teammates are crazy about this dude, and there's a lot of plus.
That's a hard work.
So
You look at the work ethic too.
He made plays. He made plays.
Sure.
The best player on the team is Colson Loveland. He didn't play in this game.
Exactly. Got to get the tight end. Back.
You got and you need a tight end when you're having a
because you
struggling
have no
quarterback.
wideouts except maybe zero.
Well, yeah, Frederick Moore number 3's got the speed to do that, but I mean, schematically it's not happening.
Right.
A vertical passing game, they got to
Just
figure that
not
out. But and Jack Tuttle is a quarterback, a conventional quarterback who can throw the ball. Maybe he might come into play before the
Now
season
they
is
say he's still
He's got an elbow issue, and he's been injury prone. He's a 7-year guy, and he's played, he played prominent football at Indiana. So remains to be seen. But and they got a winnable game next week. Michigan on their schedule, they got two games that I think you should feel comfortable. Minnesota next week at home, and Northwestern on November 30th or November 23rd at home before Ohio State. All those other games, including Michigan State on October 26th, those are all like pick-up games. I kid you not. There's so much balance in the Big Ten, and that's where I think this college football season
could
be the most riveting. Just watching the whole backdrop of college football week to week, it's going to be crazy. I'm enjoying it.
Anything and everything is happening right now.
Yeah.
In real time.
Real time, yeah.
And there's nothing. The only bad thing about it is we're already to week 5.
Why, is that sad for you?
Yeah, because we run out of time.
We got a
we only
long
get
way to
12
go.
of them.
Yeah, we haven't got to October, and next week's not even October. So
but that environment, just on that environment, seeing all the USC people there in there, it's like, it had to be electric in there.
It was electric. They brought their little pep band. They brought a version of
bum,
bum, bum, bum, bum, bum, bum. I mean, USC is like the Yankees. You know what I mean? Because
people like them just because
people like them because
USC.
It's USC. I mean, you go to a USC home game when it's kind of there's 40,000 people in the Coliseum.
Right.
I mean, pick your section. I mean, it's crazy. But they have this name brand thing, and when USC is in a national championship hunt, and all the celebrities come out, they want to go on the sidelines and
It's the aura.
Oh yeah,
USC.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden, because it's a pro sports town, LA, and it's a beach town. You go to the beach, you go hiking.
Good weather all the time.
You got good weather. You got other things to do than go to a college football game. Anyway, it was an interesting day in college football. Next week, before we go, I want to talk a little bit about your big game, the East Lansing Trojans coming up with DeWitt. But what's your expectations against Ohio State, 7 o'clock Saturday night out here at Spartan Stadium?
I would just continue to improve and get better. These kids are competing. That defense, as decimated as we are in the secondary, guys just keep stepping up and making plays. And that front seven, hey, I'll put them up against anybody right now.
Huge upgrade. And I saw that early in the season, it was a different looking. I mean, they were containing people. They were getting quarterback pressures without blitzing.
Yeah.
Which last year they had to in desperation.
And that quarterback was probably a better version of the FAU kid.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just fun to watch them play and to get after it, and to get after it, and to get after it, and it's like, nah, we're here, we're gonna play.
Yeah.
So that part, now, you know, like I said, Ohio State, you know, it's Ohio State, compete. I don't think we're gonna be afraid to compete. And you know, hey,
Same
that's
thing
why
with
they play
Oregon.
the game. We're gonna throw it out there and see what happens. You know, anything and everything can happen. Can they beat them? Sure. Can they get blown out by 35? Absolutely.
Well, I mean, they
You
could
know.
play. I said this going into the BC game. I said Michigan State could play well in the next 3 games and lose all 3. Now, I thought for the most part they played pretty well last night.
Absolutely they did.
And now
They ran the ball a little
yeah.
bit. Even.
So the litmus test for me evaluating Michigan State is see how they compete against Ohio State. You know, I mean, see how they hang around the chicken coop for a while. Make that a late third quarter game, maybe even a fourth quarter game.
Control the ball. Again, we have to be able to run it enough. Aid is going to have to make plays with his feet.
Yep.
You know, which he did yesterday. Huge plays with his feet. And keep them off the field.
Yeah.
Keep that offense off the field.
Okay, speaking of, you know, segueing over to high school football, big win for East Lansing over Okemos. The Trojans are 3-1, and you know that team you lost to Hudsonville, they beat Rockford. So I mean, and that's a quality loss, I guess. I mean,
we should have won that game.
So
Kinda
this
like
is a big
yesterday.
game Friday night here in Greater Lansing. East Lansing hosting DeWitt. 2 programs that probably safe to say don't like each other because they're both good, and they've got a rivalry established here. And DeWitt is, I mean, they score. They played a team from West Virginia and they hung 70 on them. They gave up 63. But
They score at halftime.
what do you have to do to win this football game?
We gotta keep that offense on the sideline.
So you're going to have to run the football.
Gotta control the ball. They can't
Jay
score.
Scorsese.
They can't score if the offense on there. I know. If we take care of the ball,
Don't turn the
keep
ball
it,
over.
Don't turn it over. If we keep the ball, their offense on the bench.
Yeah.
then
That
we-
will
then
be a great environment.
It should be.
It should be a great
But, hey,
environment.
you
That's-
better get there early.
You better get there early. This is one I call them the chain link fence game, where you know they're
yeah,
2 or
they'll
3
be
behind
lined
the
up.
chain link.
Yeah.
Everybody stand up, you know, stand behind the fence, looking over.
Yeah.
It's one of those games because the
They'll
stands
be
are
on the
going to be
north
packed.
end. They'll be on the north end up there.
Yeah.
On the fence.
Yeah.
Watching for sure.
Yes, out at Lindsey Adams Stadium, Jeff Smith Field here on Bircham Drive, a couple blocks away from here at the Grand Traverse Pie Company as well. So for Kerry Keyton, Tom Crawford, hey, enjoy this football season.
Enjoy it.
Only gonna-
because
yeah.
It's good.
Yes, give these kids and don't be hammering on these kids, 18 to
you
22 year
people
olds.
that got all that negativity, man, just go get a
Yeah.
life or something. Go find some wood.
Go for a
to-
walk.
Take a hammer and go hit some wood or something because you really have no idea what these kids are going through
Yeah.
and what they're trying to do to be the best they can be. And if you can't be positive and hang with them and just whatever.
Okay. Also, Tom State Community, go out on YouTube page and subscribe to us. Honor us by doing that. Follow us and also on my Tom State Community page. Until next time, for Kerry Keyton, Tom Crawford,
Go green and go Trojans.
and go blue.